What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another tea time video. It is Wellness Wednesday, so I'm going to be sharing a wellness tip, some wellness related information that's going to help you on your journey to overall health, holistic wellness, and self-care. Today's topic is "Let food be thy medicine." That is a quote spoken by Hippocrates, and we're going to dig into exactly what it means very briefly. Before we do that, I'm going to spotlight the tea that I'm drinking today. This is actually a combination of hemp, turmeric, and ginger tea. I should have the packaging. I'll have the packaging next time. But it's a hemp tea. It's also combined with the brand TAZO, strawberry lemonade tea, and I have some homemade ginger and lemon Seamoss that I mixed in. That's what I'm sipping on. Now we're going to go on to the affirmation card that I pulled this morning. Also, comment below and let me know if you have a drink of choice that you are enjoying while watching this video. Please let me know what it is. If you don't, future reference, come to tea time with your drink, whether it's tea, coffee, water, juice, whatever nourishing thing that you choose to put into your body. Before I get into the affirmation, another thing, remember, if this video is resonating with you, or if any of the past videos have resonated, or you just like seeing my face and hearing my voice, remember to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos and turn on the notifications. So today's affirmation card, Affirmator, that I pulled, it is about ups and downs. I see life as an incredible ride, and I'm lucky to be on it. Yes, the ups and downs make me want to puke sometimes, but they're also what makes things fun and interesting. And when you look back, even puking on yourself makes for a good story. So I feel like this is another kind of gratitude affirmation, kind of piggybacking off of yesterday. So basically, I mean, if everything went the same way, if nothing out of the ordinary happened, if we weren't faced with any surprises, then life would be pretty boring. So this card is just to reassure you and remind you that life is a ride. You never know what to expect on a ride. You know that it's going to be something exhilarating and thrilling by the time you're done. It might be something that has you shaking up a little bit, but you're relieved that you made it off of the ride. So there are a lot of different ways to look at ups and downs and shift your perspective so that you don't take on the downs and let them, you know, kind of overpower or overshadow everything that's happening. So life is an incredible ride of ups and downs. You know that if you're down, you're going to be back up soon, and it makes for a more exciting story, because it would be boring if everything was just repetitive and you knew what to expect. Like, who wants to live like that? So I really like this affirmator for every day. I got these sets. This set is a set of cards. I randomly picked one. They're available at Target. So if you like this one, then check out those cards. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic of food being medicine. Let food be thy medicine. So in the first tea time video, I gave you guys a little bit of background info about me and how along my journey to wellness, to health and holistic healing, I had a very pivotal stage where I realized that food was not my enemy. I realized that food was good for me, food was good for my body, and it was more than just something that tasted good or that I did as a hobby or for enjoyment. So I started to see food from a different lens. This initially happened back in, I think, 2015. So before I transitioned officially to a vegan diet, I was learning about, you know, dairy and cow's milk, and how people, you know, how people talk about dairy and cow's milk, how it's like full of pus and blood, and it's gone through this extreme processing to make it okay for us to consume and okay for us to keep in our refrigerators for weeks on end. So that was the first thing that I learned about. And mind you, I was an avid milk drinker. Like, I was one of those people who like to drink milk because I just like the taste, like white milk, chocolate milk, whatever. I was a milk drinker. And so learning those things about dairy initially did not faze me. So it wasn't until I started learning more about just a plant-based way of living and a plant-based diet, and I started comparing my traditional Western diet and consumption to what a plant-based lifestyle looks like. And I started learning about the composition of those foods. So one of the examples that I would see is like a protein stacked breakfast sandwich. So you have eggs, you have cheese, you have meat. So all of these proteins, a whole lot of fat, very little nutritional value as it relates to the vitamin and mineral content and just what it can do for the body as far as healing the body and assisting me on my journey to feeling good, being healthy, and of course being at a healthy weight, because that was one of my main priorities at the time. So being able to put these two dietary habits side by side and compare and contrast kind of made me think more deeply, like, what other benefits does food provide other than, you know, that joyous feeling, that satisfaction that's a lot of times temporary depending on what you're eating. What else can food provide? And also, what else are the things that I'm eating in my traditional Western diet? What are they doing that may not be serving me? What are they doing that may be harming me on the inside? So this is where, like, I went down into the rabbit hole of YouTube, documentaries, studying, training, education, all about nutrition, wellness, and how the two connect to each other. So today we're going to talk about letting food be thy medicine, what it means, how you can apply it. So the first point I want to make is we're going to differentiate what food is. So a lot of the things that we eat are food, but a lot of the things that we eat and consume are food-like substances. So food is anything that is nutritious to the body for humans or animals, things that we consume to sustain our life and promote healthy growth cycles. So that is what food is. So you can think about the things that you consume, and although maybe eating a certain thing will give you some energy to continue on, it will provide your body with an energy source, it may not be the most optimal for healthy growth, healthy energy sources, and healthy immunity and things of that nature. So food should provide energy and nutrition and the nutrients that we need to be healthy. Healthy is the operative word in that definition of what food truly is. So when you look at things that have been overly processed, maybe heavily seasoned with salt and sugar in order to... So when you think about and reflect on the foods that are not necessarily directly related to giving you all the nutrients that you need or sustaining your body or promoting healthy growth cycles. So when you think about food versus food-like substances, you realize that the things that fall into the category of food-like are things that are more geared towards being tasty, being preserved for long periods of time, being convenient, like your packaged, processed, and fast foods. You'll find that these are the food-like substances because they are not primarily geared towards your nutrient goals being met. They're not geared primarily towards your health goals being met and your body just running at its most healthy state. So that's going to bring me to my next point. The body has a goal of always trying to reach a place of homeostasis. Homeostasis simply means balance. So we know what balance means. We know that when things are going well on all cylinders, we are feeling balanced in our lives. We know that when something over here is just wreaking havoc while everything else is going in a straight line, or everything else is going as we would have it, then we know that we are in a place of imbalance. Within the body, there are so many interworkings of little proteins and enzymes and all these different things, cells, blood cells, doing their job within. So we can either help this system move as smoothly as possible, or we can hinder it. And a lot of that happens based on what we are putting into our bodies. Different cells, different enzymes, different proteins require different things from our body and from our nutrient consumption that's going to aid them in being able to do their job more effectively. When these things are deficient, when these nutrients, these minerals are deficient, these things within our bodies have to work harder to keep us in a place of balance. When the body is in a place of unease or dis-ease, this manifests as disease. So this is where your heart disease comes from. High blood pressure, diabetes, hypertension, all of these things come from the body being in a place of disease. Disease meaning not being in a place of homeostasis, imbalance. So it comes down to, what are we eating? How are we fueling our bodies? How are we fueling our bodies' systems to get them to work as effectively as possible so that we feel? When you think about it, this communicates to the saying, you are what you eat. So you are what you eat. I used to hear that a lot growing up, and I didn't know what it meant, and I don't think the people who were saying it really knew and understood and grasped what it really meant, because we were eating the same thing. Like, it may be adults saying you are what you eat. Maybe if I'm like stuck on eating a certain thing for a long time, or I don't even know, because nobody was eating that healthy in my childhood growing up. But I did hear the saying, you are what you eat, a lot. You are what you eat is really saying that based on the things that you are consuming, and this could be anything. We're talking about food right now, but this could be the language that you're taking in, the music that you're taking in, the energy from other people that you're taking in, and of course your food that you're taking in. When you consume these things, when you take these things in as a part of your overall diet, your person is going to naturally emit those things that you're taking in. So if you're taking in foods that are toxic to your mental health, or if you are taking in energy from people that is toxic to your mental health or toxic to your overall growth, you are going to manifest that toxicity. You are going to show that coming from your own person. So when it comes down to food being your medicine, think about the different things that you're eating. Think about the qualities and the characteristics of the different things that make up a bulk of your diet. So nothing has to be 100%. 80-20 rule is something that I teach my clients in great depth, because I want them to understand that you don't need to eat 100% perfect, balanced, healthy all the time, because your body, like I said, is trying to reach that state of homeostasis, and it has helpers all within that are striving to make that happen. We are simply aiding our bodies, taking care of our bodies in a way that makes it not have to struggle, and we don't risk going into that imbalance and running into those different diseases within the body. So 80% of what you eat being healthy, clean, plant-based, whole foods, and 20% of what you're eating being, whatever your guilty pleasure is not going to throw you off. But if you're 80% guilty pleasure, 20% clean, healthy, whole, then we have a problem, and it's going to manifest in your physical body. It's going to manifest in your mental health, your emotions, and even spirituality. So it's very important to know that what you're putting into your body is not just a matter of what feels good, what tastes good in that moment. You want to be thinking long term about, one, is this worth me eating? Is this worth me consuming? 2, what is the quality of this food? Is it like something that is going to be healing and nourishing for me? Or is it something that could potentially put my body in a state of dis-ease over time? So I really want to just leave you guys with knowing that food should be pleasurable. Eating healthy, eating clean and natural foods does not equate to eating flavorless foods that are not satisfying, that do not make you feel good, okay? You can literally have both. It should be pleasurable, but it should also be a healing and balancing experience. So we all know after we eat healthy for a while, we feel good during that time. We can notice the changes in our body. We notice the changes in our energy. We also know that if we've gone up time eating healthy, or even if we haven't, when we eat too much bad food, or we eat too much processed foods, or we overeat too much of the wrong foods, then we feel that as well, and we feel like we don't have much energy. We feel lethargic. We notice our clothes fitting differently. We notice the scale going up when we don't necessarily want it to. So that's a thing that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to, you're keeping tabs on, and you're remaining mindful of. So food should be pleasurable, but it should also be balancing and healing. And you know what feels healing, and you know what doesn't feel healing. So I want you guys just to remember that food is your medicine. You can get medicine from the doctors, you can get medicine from, over the counter, but when you look down to the composition of your food, because it is healing when it's food, right? Not food like. When you look down to the composition of the healing foods, you'll find that there is a food that's going to communicate whatever it is that you need for your health and wellness when you need it. So for example, you have foods that are high in vitamin C. Are there vitamin C supplements available? Of course, but it's best to go ahead and get that food, that supplement, that nutrient directly from the source, which is your food. So all of the medicines that we receive, all of the medicines that are marketed to us are derived from a food source. They have other things added to them, but the main active ingredients are always going to come back to a plant-derived source. So the best thing that we can do for ourselves and for our health is get our medicine from the source itself. This is going to be healing for us. This is going to be a proactive way of making sure we keep our bodies healthy and balanced, and it's going to be something that serves you long term for the rest of your life. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you never thought about food being medicine, I hope that now you can kind of start to connect some dots and realize that food is here to serve us. Food is here to help us, and it should be consumed mindfully. Doesn't mean it has to be perfect. Your consumption doesn't have to be 100% in any direction, but you do have to be mindful. It can't be something that we just do without thinking for our short-term enjoyment or that immediate gratification. You want to be mindful about it. The more mindful you are about what you're consuming, the more intentional you are about what you're consuming, the more that is going to radiate and manifest in your physical life and in your physical body. So I hope you guys enjoy this topic for Wellness Wednesday, natural healing topics and food as medicine. We're going to get into the details and spotlight some different foods and herbs and plants that you can add to your toolbox, your medicine cabinet, if you will, to address any ailments that you might be experiencing in your physical body. So please stay tuned for that. If there's any specific things you'd like to highlight or you'd like to learn more about, make sure you leave that in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like, comment, and share everywhere. I appreciate y'all coming to have tea with me again today. Have a great Wednesday. Peace.